Trigger warning. This episode includes discussions of domestic abuse, minor and sexual trafficking, SA, and rape.
I and my mother didn't deserve to be in that situation. My mother couldn't see a way out. But I was like, this is wrong. We cannot, live here. We cannot do this. Broke in when we weren't there, stole our passports.
For real?
That's what the Westie's done. Women get resold and resold and resold. People have been rescued from a place and they have gone to that place to take the people back. So when you build something like that, you have to take so many precautions. I had people say to me, what's the ROI on the grant? I'm like, since when have you heard that there's an ROI on a grant? Money is a tool. Money moves things. Money gives you breathing space. Money allows you, and the access to that money is nil for us.
Favor
May the
or
odds
something.
ever be in your favor,
Hungarians. Yeah.
Hunger men.
Hunger Games, that's it. Today, I'm interviewing Nanna, who runs the Fundhership Grant. We talked about economic empowerment, entrepreneurship, and of course, funding. We also talked about how she was able to rescue herself and her mother from a terrible situation, and how doing that as a child has kind of underpinned what she's gone on to do in later life. It's a really insightful conversation. I think you're going to love it. So yeah, let's get into it. Welcome back to the check-in. This is where I talk to interesting people with interesting stories. With that being said, Nanna, let's check in.
Hi.
Hi. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Yeah, you good today?
I'm good.
I love the hair.
Thank you.
Absolutely love the hair. Is this your signature look?
It is my signature look. Like the color. It's my signature color, right? I started wearing this color in 1999.
Wow.
So yeah, it is my signature color. I've had it in different sizes and shapes and everything, but right now this is it. But shortly I'm going to go really short.
Oh.
Not pixie,
okay,
but just like a little poof afro with same color.
Oh, nice.
Same color, yeah.
Lovely.
So, yeah.
Love that. Okay, before we get into your story and what you do, I always ask people, what was a moment of joy that you have experienced in the past week?
I think for me, it was yesterday. Because I had a pretty difficult weekend with work and things not happening, and I woke up yesterday morning and I realized that I was a week away from celebrating the 1 year of the Fundhership Grant.
Ooh, and, congrats!
Yeah, so then I just walked around my house doing kung fu kicks, and I was just dancing like. And I was just like doing all these kung fu kicks, and my son was loving it. Yeah. And I was just really, really happy. I was like, yes, because, you always aim for more and aim for better. I could get stuck in getting disappointed in what hasn't been achieved, right? And the fact that I was able to take a moment and go, actually, it's been a year. That filled me. That was my joyous moment.
Oh, I love
that. Yeah, I was like, and I love doing kung fu kicks because it just reminds me that I'm still a bit agile, even though I'm older.
And we have to celebrate. That's the thing. I think like so many of us who are, founders like yourself and, leading very busy lives, have like milestones and successes and things. And we're just like, okay, cool, on to the next thing. Yeah. So even if it is a kung fu kick.
Yeah, no, it was really, and also the fact that I could do it. And today I woke up and I wasn't in pain.
There's
joy.
that. There's actually that, seriously. I'm watching Love Island USA at the moment, and I love it. And there's one girl on there who basically saying that you should do the splits every day because it's really good for your groin and stuff. And I'm just like, girl, I can barely walk. How about that?
I've been trying to do splits for 20 years, man.
Seriously.
I've been trying.
You know what? I could do it when I was younger. I can't do it now.
I don't know if I could do it when I was younger. I really don't. I think my hips were too tight.
Really?
I used to walk around going, I have childbearing hips, but I don't, because obviously.
Well, you've lived a very, how would I say it? Like, you've lived lives. You've lived many lives, it seems.
I have.
Yeah. And you've lived in many different countries as well. So did you come to UK when you was like 7 years old?
Yeah.
From Ghana.
From Ghana.
Yeah. To
Beloved
UK.
country.
Yes.
God bless our homeland, Ghana.
Oh, I do love Ghana. I'm not Ghanaian, but I do love
good.
Ghana. Like I think
it's hard for people not to, you know.
I'm telling you, honestly, it's one of my absolute faves.
Yeah. I can understand that. I haven't been back since I was 17, but I still understand how great it is. Yeah, because I'm busy in other places.
Yeah.
I haven't been back. Yeah, but I want to go back, and I never want to go in December. I've experienced Ghana in December before the Dirty December existed.
Yeah,
and that was already a hype.
That was already a lot.
Was already crazy.
Yeah.
I want to go when it's a bit calmer, when, you know, so yeah.
So you lived in Mexico for
we're going back. Yeah.
Okay.
I lived in Mexico for 13 years on and off, whilst I was doing my life's work there. This is now my life's work. And yeah, I call it home. Mexico's home for me.
Yeah.
London's never been home. It's always been the place that I've had to come back to. It's never felt like home for me. Ghana was home.
Yeah.
And then London wasn't. So that's why when I was about 19, I started traveling around Europe, because I was like, I need to find somewhere I can call home.
Yeah.
And initially it was Spain. This is back in the late 90s.
Wow.
So Spain was different then. And then Mexico, and Mexico's definitely home. My son is half Mexican.
Right. Okay.
So there was always the destiny of me being there and building there and pouring my heart out to Mexico. It's interesting because nowadays I can talk about Mexico without crying. I couldn't for years. If I was out of Mexico, I couldn't say Mexico without tears coming into my eyes. Couldn't.
What do you love about it so much?
Well, it's not. It is what I love, but it's also what I was there for, right? I was researching and investigating the commercial sexual exploitation of children, and so I got to experience a side of Mexico that really broke my heart, and it became a foundation into trying to understand what can be done to solve problems that seem unsolvable, right? And then having some of my best friends, they're Mexican people. When they love you deep. They love you deep. They love you good. They love you strong. They love you always, right? It's not that that doesn't happen anywhere else, but it was kind of pure. And I noticed a big difference because back when I used to have a proper Facebook, like in London, when you post something, people just skim by. Like back in the day when we all used to be on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
In Mexico, like you post a flower, people are like, oh my gosh, it's so amazing. That's so wonderful. That's so, like, they're very much giving in there, you know, whereas here you have to like, anybody like it?
Yeah.
And then the food, what the Mexican history is all about, what they've gone through, you know, the indigenous people of the indigenous culture of Mexico that has somehow been lost, but is coming back. Okay. You know, the land itself reminded me so much of Ghana.
Really?
Like when you're traveling across it from, like we would travel from the town that we were in to the beach and you go through like towns and stuff like that. And it was literally like, like Ghana. It's a magical place. It's a really magical place. And it's sad because obviously a lot of Mexicans go through a lot of heartache, a lot in terms of life, right?
Yeah.
Because it's difficult, but it's not as bad as people it's portrayed to be. Just like Africa is not as bad as, you know, it's portrayed to be. It's not like everybody's like, oh, the cartels. And
That's the thing. I feel like most of my viewpoints of Mexico have come from TV shows and movies and all that kind of stuff because, do you know what I mean? Just don't know any better. Even at this big age, like.
Well, the thing is, a lot of that is true, right? But it's not like every town, every city, everywhere, everything, right? A lot of that is true. It was harrowing for me because there wasn't a single Mexican person that I met that hadn't either known somebody personally who'd been kidnapped or ransomed or anything like that, or murdered.
Yeah.
That was a different thing, but I had to remind myself that it's a completely different culture.
Yes.
It's a different place. It's just like going back to any African country or West African country, and somebody's stolen, Somebody,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Somebody's
yeah.
tried to do stuff. So it's about making a balance about it.
What inspired you to even leave in the first place?
This country,
Yeah.
ghetto. When I was
Agree.
I came at 7 and I came from a nice house, you know, good friends. I had a whole bunch of friends.
Yeah.
Like we all played together every day, came to this cold country, came to the promise of my father, who at that point was losing his mind. But, you know, high functioning, losing your mind, like many African dads in the 80s, right? Like you've been traumatized so much, your bad mental health issues are coming out, you know?
Okay.
So we moved into a bed sit, like sharing a house share with other people. So my mum and my dad would sleep on the bed and I would be on the floor next to 2 chairs that were stacked on top of each other. And every night I'd fear for my life that the chairs were gonna fall off. And then I got a room upstairs after a while, but it was still in a bed sit. We shared a bathroom, we shared a kitchen, you know, one of those places. Yeah. The lady, her name was Auntie Comfort, God rest her soul. She helped a lot of Ghanaians and some Africans who were coming into this country
to settle and
to start, you know. So she'd rent out the rooms in her house. You know, they weren't ideal, but it was somewhere to start, you know. But for my dad, it shouldn't have been, because he'd been here for years.
Oh, okay.
That was the thing. But it'd gotten to a place where he needed to get his own place. So he kind of bamboozled my mum into coming so he could, with me as a kid, so that he could get a council.
Oh, okay.
And I think maybe 2 years after we arrived, we got one. Yeah. And then I made it so that my mum and me left him because he was physically abusive.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I always thank God that he wasn't, you know, he didn't SA me because I'd have killed him. I'd be in jail. He would have been in jail. He would have been dead. I'd have been in prison. There you go. Or in, you know, juvenile, and then the rest of my life. But he was very physically violent to me. No. And I could handle it, until I saw him being violent to my mom. And then I was like, that's it. And so I started talking to my mom. I spoke to her. I remember I was 10 and I spoke to her for a whole year, telling her that it was right for us to leave. And she was really scared. She's like, if they find out that he's beating you, they're going to take you away from me because they're going to say that I allowed it. And somehow, some way, I knew the law. And I was like, no, that's not what's going to happen. And I would threaten to call the police all the time. Until finally I went to my headmaster, Mr. J.L. White. And I explained to him, I have a really intense memory detail. So I explained to him our whole process, everything he did, the way he does. And Mr. White listened, and he immediately wrote up a report, sent it to social workers, and I told them how violent he was. So everything was done in secret. They called my mom. They reassured her that they weren't going to let him know. The day that we went to get our stuff to move out, they brought 2 really, really tall policemen with us. Okay. But he wasn't there. Oh, so we grabbed our stuff and left. He managed to find where we were. Oh. Broke in when we weren't there, stole our passports. My guy.
For real?
That's not the worst he's done, but we'll keep it there.
Wow. Oh my God.
That's not the worst he did, yeah.
I'm so sorry.
He's had run-ins with Interpol.
Right.
Well, he's not alive anymore. He had run-ins with Interpol.
Is that partly what inspired your work that you were doing in Mexico? Was there a connection there, or was it unconscious connection in terms of the protection of children?
No. Well, it could. I think there is an unconscious protection, but it was more to do with that specific type of abuse towards children. Right. And that happened because when I lived in Spain, I encountered a lot of women that had been trafficked. Right. Okay. So that gave me a lot of experience, like first-hand experience. They became my friends. There was a lot of scandal about that in Spain at that time, like women trafficked from Russia, women trafficked from Nigeria, women trafficked from all over the world. And so that's what began that journey of, you know, wanting to help young women and girls and wanting to understand how to help them. Because I spent a year back in the day where Google was just born,
Mm.
like downloading PDFs on my mum's computer,
Mm-hmm.
like downloading documents on and researching on worldwide phenomena of prostitution and what it looked like, you know, because there were some people were like, oh yeah, no, it's fine. I chose to be this way. But actually, if you look back into it, you'll see that there's always some level of abuse, there's some level of depravity, there's some trauma that has happened that has made every single one of them choose that path, regardless of how much they justify it.
Yeah.
And then 99% of women who are put into those positions have been trafficked into those positions. So it's a very small percentage in somewhere in Northern Europe that believe that they've made that choice because they want to, but that everybody else is a slave. So, you know, or not able to go, or, you know, stuck there because they have to pay, trapped in some way. So you know, in New Zealand and Australia, they have different laws about prostitution.
Right, they do.
Yeah,
don't
they
they?
do.
Yeah.
They do. They were quite liberal with those kind of things, and then the laws, and then the way that people would recruit, because the large majority of the women in Spain, Black women in Spain that were doing it were all Nigerian, and so I had to research what they would do, and they would isolate them, they would drug them, and I guess maybe they used, I don't know, witchcraft, whatever, and they would fight. And so the women, if you ever encountered them, they were really proud of what they were doing. That's the life they lived. That's because they had no one, right? And they're quite scary. Yeah. So with that, and then, you know, other parts of Europe, like lots of women from Latin America, you know, Brazil, not so much Mexico, interestingly enough. But Brazil, Colombia, the Dominican Republic, you know, all these women that were lied to about trying to find a better life and brought to Spain and, you know, and Russia. Lots of women from Russia that were trafficked, and they lived under such intense sort of guard. It was crazy. Initially, I thought I was going to go back to Spain,
right,
and like build something to rescue these women. And then I started hearing Mexico, and this is I'd been on mission to Costa Rica and Nicaragua twice, and I was like, Mexico, who's Mexico? Where is Mexico? What is Mexico? When is Mexico? I would wake up every day for 3 months, like, Mexico. Like every day I would have had a dream about Mexico or something like that. And that's how I knew I should go to Mexico, because I was really like, I've been to Costa Rica. I love Costa Rica. Viva, you know, pura vida, man. Come on. Like surfers. I had some surfer friends in Costa Rica. I was let's build the dream, man. Because I'm a hippie. I'm a sand worm. I want to live on the beach. So I was like, yeah, pura vida, man. You know, I could do stuff there. But no, Mexico. And Mexico had a huge problem of trafficking before it was public,
right,
you know, and yeah, it's still a huge problem today because there's really been nothing done or built to address it because of who runs it.
right.
You see, in many other countries, cartels or gangs specialize in one thing. Right. And in Mexico, they you know, they diversify.
Right. Okay.
So that drugs, arms, humans, right? They do all three.
Wow.
So that makes it a lot more difficult. And women get resold and resold and resold, you know, and there's a lot of films out there created by Mexicans explaining the process. So it's not as easy as going in and going, we're going to rescue a whole bunch of people. People have been rescued from a place, and they have gone to that place to take the people back. So, so when you build something like that, you have to take so many precautions. You have to, it's so deep. So yeah, what I ended up doing is just trying to understand the phenomena behind why so many people were complicit to it. You know, because it's like, yes, there's the cartels and all of them, but there's a whole bunch of everyday people that are giving up their children to this or trafficking their children in their own homes.
Wait, what?
Yeah. And so what is happening there? You know, because there's poverty in all countries.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
course,
Like
yeah.
but what is happening there? And I'm not an expert per se. Maybe I spent many years researching investigating. One of my thoughts is that because of how the current population of Mexico was created not so long ago, right, where the women were demeaned and, you know, they were, you know, raped and they were essayed and they were, you know, devalued and they were dehumanized and they were literally eliminated, the large majority of the indigenous population. I think as we are learning, things carry through your DNA, don't they? So there's that, you know, there's that sense of capacity to really detach the humanity from someone because of need, right? Where it's like you couldn't imagine it yourself, but until you understand, like there's ways that we behave that other ethnicities are like, how do they all know how to dance? Yeah. Except for Gary, you know. Just kidding. Sorry, Gary. How do they all know how to do that? How can they all? And then if one of us doesn't know how to dance, we're all like, what happened? Yeah. What had happened? Right? It's carried through. So just like the positive things are carried through, I believe the negative effects are carried through as well. So yeah, it's a real huge epidemic there. And I saw a lot of American organizations coming in and be like, yeah, let's save the poor Mexicans, man. I'm like, to be able to solve something well, you need to understand why it's happening. You can't just plaster over it and hope for the best. And so yeah, that led me to really develop my capacity to find solutions to problems that can't be solved easily, or that look from the top that they need a different type of solution because we don't understand the root of what's happening. So yeah.
So this is OmegaSeven? Is this
OmegaSeven? Yeah.
Yeah. In Mexico as a entity, what does that look like?
So what I did before I came back 5 years ago, we built a lot of awareness campaigns.
Okay.
What I had understood was either I'm able to shift policy, local policy, to be able to build things, or I wouldn't do both. So we built a lot of awareness campaigns around what was going on, because a lot of everyday Mexicans don't know. Yeah. Like we know more outside than they do.
Right. Okay.
Right. So, and if you're in it and you're doing the research and stuff like that, you understand it. So that was a lot of what I was doing then, what it has evolved into now. And it was about building something that would help women and young girls that had been rescued. But my vision was small, you see. My vision was small. And I was really sad when I had to leave Mexico and come here because of COVID, because I was like, no. But what it's allowed me to do is now build a platform that feeds finances into organizations that are already on the ground and working. How do we do that? We work with them so that they become organizationally correct. Let's say a lot of these organizations are working right in the middle of, you know, where it's hot. They see the need, they build it, but they don't have organizational structure. They don't have any due diligence. They don't have training. They don't have, so they can't get enough funding. And funding is already scarce in Mexico. So what we come in and do is that we take them through the process of building up their organizational structure to a way where they are eligible for international funding. Right. And then we help them get the international funding and then sort of track them through it and help the funders track what they're doing and in a transparent way. So all of it happens on a platform. And so it's in stages as well. So it's very different to the Fundhership Grant because a lot of these organizations would never have received any sort of funding, and we also need to keep them safe. Yeah. Right. One of the things that happens in Mexico a lot, doesn't really happen here, is that you go to take money out from the bank and the bank tellers are telling people on motorbikes that you have taken out a large sum of money, and then they follow you to wherever you are, put a gun to your head, and you know, so those kinds of things. Yeah. But it doesn't happen like every single day. Yeah, okay. But the risk of it is possible. Yeah. just like, you know, the risk of being held, you know, on a road in Ghana is possible kind of thing. But
Or the
it's
risk
far,
of getting your phone snatched in London.
the risk, it's that kind of risk, right? You know, it's there. If you take precautions, you can, but that's the kind of, you know, because there is the level of violence in Mexico is a bit more extreme than here, you know, it's a bit more extreme. So people are like, yeah.
Would you class this as not necessarily the businesses you fund or your organization helps to fund?
Yeah.
Are they kind of like under the umbrella of activism?
They are civil associations, so they are charities or they're not businesses. Right. In Mexico, we only work with civil associations because only they can receive donations per se, right? So yeah, they're all working on the front lines with women and girls, right? And normally when it comes to women and girls, there's a lot of insecurity, you know, especially the indigenous ones, especially. Now, Mexico's a large country, right? Even though half of it has been given to the US, it's still a large country and there's still remote areas. There's still a lot of mountainous villages. There's still places that not everyone can reach, but there are organizations, right? And with my partners in Mexico, we find that a lot of organizations can't be funded because they don't meet the requirements of traditional funders. Right. I'm always looking at the people who are not getting funding. Right?
Yeah.
What we're doing is we're building the portfolio of theirs. And if they're willing to work to a place, because what we don't want to do is like baby feed them. We can handhold them and build them to a place where they can then keep going. They've been going for so long on very little. You know, and so that means that instead of me building something in a small place in Mexico, now this becomes nationwide reach, you know, and that is how you help with the problems. Because if we are giving money to organizations that can help women be educated, that can, you know, help mothers understand that they don't need their children for money, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That they can be safe, that they can get the education about their rights, you know, they can walk away from that very, very, very dangerous male. You know, one of the things in Mexico, femicide is now becoming a word here, but I knew femicide in 2007 when I was in Mexico. Do you know what I mean? In the world, every 10 minutes a woman is unalived by a man. In Mexico, it's the same. Every 9 minutes a woman is unalived by a man in Mexico. So it's a bit hairy. Yeah. So being able to affect nationwide in that way as we build, so it's a sigh of relief that we're going to be able to do that. I mean, the way that we've built it means that the funders come in assured of how the money is going to be spent, right? The challenge with trying to fund Mexico is that people don't have clear, transparent processes. Money disappears, people disappear. Do you know what I mean?
And then the trust is lost.
And the way our system works is that you can't have all the money at once. If you don't reach the goal that you need to reach, you can't get more money. Right. And so and if you don't show you can't just type in metrics, we did this. There's tangible stuff you need to show, as in you have actually achieved what you said you were going to achieve. Otherwise, you don't get the rest. And it's only for their protection and also to build a system of trust, because a lot of them just want to do the work, you know, but they haven't learned how to budget. They haven't learned how to, you know, do a lot of things. So, yeah.
I wonder, like, the skills that you use to get out of your situation as a child is almost like the same skills that you're using here.
Yeah.
In terms of like understanding what the problem is, like finding a solution for that and rescuing yourself and also your mother at the same time.
Yeah. It feeds into that because I'm very, very aware of people's plight. And because I saw that I and my mother didn't deserve to be in that situation. My mother couldn't see a way out, right? She couldn't see it. And I think to a certain degree, maybe she didn't even want to see a way out to a certain degree, right? But I was like, this is wrong. We cannot, you know, live here. We cannot do this. There must be a way, you know? And I don't even remember discussing it with friends in school or anything like that. It was a decision I made. I You know, I did not look back at all, you know. So yeah, I think you're right. And it feeds into everything I do now as well, even in the UK, you know, with Black and brown women here. There's a deep sense of wanting to gather them. A lot of the behaviors that I see break my heart because I see the root cause of those behaviors, right? Now, like I said before, people are people, you behave badly, take accountability, but there's a reason why you're behaving badly. There's a reason why you've been exposed in a way where you feel like you need to lash out all the time, or you can't trust, or you must attack, or you cannot build together. There are causes, you know, and those causes, they're extenuating circumstances that are unfixable if you look at it. What do we do? Where do we go? How do we change this? How do I change my financial situation at this point? What do you want me to do? This is the lot I have, you know. I'm getting paid this salary. I have this. I can do this. I can't do any more, right? Or where would I go? I don't even have a home of my own. You know, I rent, or, you know, I have a child who has additional needs. There's so many reasons. Or my job, I can't whisper without them complaining about me. You know, I can't breathe without them. And even though I do so much work and all the work and all of that, I'm still the one getting attacked. I'm still the one, like, if I sneeze in the wrong direction, I've caused an you know, a viral epidemic or something. And those situations feel very much, you know, like fixtures that you cannot move. And it's easy for someone else to come in and go, yeah, you could change that, blah, blah, but not give you any solutions. So you just need to fix up. You know, just look on the bright side. You know, we just need to do better. But no solutions. Like, what are you saying? Or no grace, right? To be like, what is it that you have experienced constantly, daily, that is making you feel like there's no way out? Do you know what I mean? What is it? Even if you've got that whole vision board and the plan, and I'm going to move, but it's been 10 years and you're still not there, because there's always an emergency, isn't there? And everything happens in threes, right?
It's very true, though.
Do you know what I mean? So it becomes a survival that we talk about all the time, but nobody's throwing any dinghies. Right? All of our heads are above the water. We're treading water, but nobody's giving us a time to rest, but everybody's telling us to fix it. That's the basis of what I'm doing here in London. I'm building things that will give women breathing space and rest, because I've heard so many women, so many forums talk about the issues, right? Talk about the effects of those issues, but nobody really going, okay, we all ask the question, how do we fix it? And that's where it stays. And it's fair.
Or like it's hard to help other people when you're in that situation yourself. It really is. So people talk about community and sisterhood all the time, and that sort of thing, but it's just like practically sometimes like actually I don't even have the energy anymore because of what I'm going through right now, you know, so I can't pour into you if I have nothing.
Listen,
you know,
it's really difficult because all of us are in situations where somebody in our life is always on the verge. Right? And then you look at the society you're in and the way you're looked at and the way you're treated. And you're right. There is a lot of goodwill to do good. And this is one thing that I noticed in Mexico. Because of the extenuating circumstances, a lot of the women that were doing the good and building these organizations, and one of them, I won't mention her name because she's quite powerful, there was the first time I used the word misogynist.
Oh, really?
At my tender age of 27. I was like, I've met my first female misogynist. And she had been so traumatized through what she was doing, because she was working in the same field of, you know, commercial sexual exploitation of children, that she would just mistreat, especially all the women around her, to the point where, as a volunteer in her organization, I stood up to her and she started threatening me that she was going to get me deported and stuff. Mexicans say that all the time. Just like, I'm a Mexican resident. Anyway. But I see that here, not in the same degree and not in terms of misogyny, but the goodwill because you're stretched, because you want to extend goodwill, but actually your cup isn't full enough, right? The minute somebody asks you to pour out, you're running on low.
Yeah.
Right?
Or empty
Or
even.
empty. Do you know what I mean? And you don't have time to refill. So then it becomes a thing of you're still doing the thing, but people are like, why is she so, is it me? Why is she so angry? Why is she so, why does it feel like, yeah. And you are trying to tell yourself that everything's okay, but it's not, because you don't even have time to breathe, because you're out here trying to help everybody. You're trying to do the thing, but you're also fighting for your life.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a hard place to work from. It's like when you don't have enough space or time to rest from your children, and you have more than one, and one is enough, and they're all coming at you, you get a little bit, if not quite.
Yeah. I don't have children, but I know obviously a lot of people that do. And like, you know, I can understand if they're a bit snappy. I'm just like, okay, I will give you grace in that moment, because I don't have to deal with what you're doing.
I have to deal with this.
Like, I know that's your choice and everything, but I don't have to deal with it.
Even if it is my choice,
it's a lot.
It's not an ideal situation. The way we live our lives in this country in particular is kind of scary, right? In isolation, by ourselves, 3, 4 kids, and everybody looks at us like, why are you not trying harder? Why can't you keep a kid under control?
And
it's
also,
a whole human being.
This is the thing. And also as well, I think like, especially nowadays, like kids can't really even go outside. Right? Do you know what I mean? You can't even say, "Oh, come back when the lights come on." You can't do that, because you'll be judged as a parent if you let your children go roam the street, as we did when we was kids. That's not a thing anymore. No, parents aren't even getting 5 minutes. They can't even get 5 minutes. 5 minutes. So that's why I get it.
And a lot of us don't have the time to think about that, because it's just there. And also, we live in small houses, man.
Yeah,
how small? Do you know what I mean?
Planning a wedding, traditional engagement, or milestone celebration? Vendor Finder helps you navigate the unique beauty of Black British events. From finding the perfect Alaga and MUA to sourcing the best DJs, visit vendorfinder.co.uk, the UK's premier directory dedicated to the Black British community. If you're enjoying this conversation, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you're on YouTube, there's a new thing called Hype. Hype it up, please. And share this with a like-minded friend as well. Why did you go down this path with, in particular, the Fundhership?
Grant. Because one of the biggest obstacles to being able to see change is lack of money. Right? Let's be honest. Right? You can have all the vision you want. I've had it, and I haven't had money. Guess where? You know, do you know what I mean? You can have all the positivity you want, but if you do not have the resources, or even the knowledge that there are accessible resources out there, right? I have a lot of privileged white friends, right? They have not experienced what I've experienced. They have never, and so when they are inconvenienced, right, by nothing, right, they're like, oh my gosh, this is so difficult. And I have to stop myself and go, oh yes, you come from a place where that inconvenience for you, I would like to have that inconvenience.
I'd like to have the option, please.
I would like to have the option to be inconvenienced like that. And you are like, and you can't say to them, oh, you're ungrateful, because that's their experience, right? So for me, having not been here and having not been pummeled into needing to rebuild myself every day with affirmations, you know, which I have to be really careful about, because I've been here for 5 years now, so I'm needing every now and then I'm needing to look in the mirror and go, you could do this.
Yeah, you are enough.
The reason why I did the Fundhership Grant is that, let's not lie, it's not about the love of money. Money is a tool. Money moves things. Money gives you breathing space. Money allows you, and the access to that money is nil for us.
Why do you think so many people have hang-ups about money, especially with women?
First of all, we haven't been trusted with money for a long time. You know, let's think about it. When whoever had money in the house was the man, right? It's passed down. We haven't been trusted with money for a long time. The other thing with women is that all our lives, especially women our age and stuff, we've always been questioned about our decisions. Are you sure you know what you're doing? We do it, teacher. Are you sure? In a minute. And so everything that we do has to do with that. And then if you are in from a Christian background, which a lot of us are, or a religious background, there's a whole thing about talking about money being a taboo. Either it's a taboo or it is the mark of success, right? Which then brings a tinge of ugh to it, right? Because it's contrary to the beliefs that do you know what I mean? That you sit by. So there's a lot of confusion, I believe, when it comes to that. Like, for instance, debt, right? And so many women that I talk to, and they're like, I'm just uncomfortable with debt. And I'm like, well, you're uncomfortable with the UK then, because the UK runs on debt. Do you know what I mean?
The UK, the USA,
do you know what I mean? Like, it's
all the countries.
And I try to say to them, they're like, yeah, but I'm like, but there's not enough grants out there for you. Do you know what I mean? You need to think about, because all other businesses at some point, even from the beginning, or this is why the British Business Bank gives loans to start up businesses. They start you with a loan, not to trap you, but that's how the system is built.
Right, yeah.
Right? And our community is like, I'll fight, the Lord will make a way. This is the system that you're in. And sometimes he does, and a lot of times he doesn't. So that's why I wanted to make money accessible. So it's a £10,000 grant, but it's per month, but it's built to grow, and there's enough of us to grow it, to be able to be giving out, you know, on the less ambitious side, 5 grants a month. On the more ambitious side, at least 10 to 20 or 10 grand a month.
Okay.
If we were all switched on and understood that they're not going to give us money, but we can all do it together, it would change the funding landscape completely for us. And we wouldn't need to be, you know, pitching here, pitching there, loaning that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's enough of us to be able to support that and support the future generations that come up.
Why did you choose the amount of £10,000?
Because it's a dignified amount. The British Business Bank says that you need at least £25,000 to start a business, right? Without stretching.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's way under that, right? But any less than that, in our economy today, in our crisis world, right? In Donald Trump's world, £10,000 just gives you breathing space. It does not solve, but it allows you to go, okay, I have a substantial enough amount of money, and it shifts your mindset. Because if you give £1,000, everybody's gotten £1,000 in there. Do you know what I mean? Most people get £1,000 at the end of every month as a salary. And before it lands, it's gone.
Yes.
Right? So it doesn't shift your mindset, right? It's psychological as well. £10,000, you're like, oh, amount. Okay. What can I do with it to allow me to make more? And that's what I always say to the women. Don't use it as like just, unless you're doing a standalone project. But if you're putting it into your business, find quick ways to allow you to make more money.
Yeah.
And that's another challenge. We're all about purpose. And I'm like, you need to chill with the purpose, you know, because this is a purpose for me, right? But financially speaking, I've had to build other things around the Fundhership Grant, because the Fundhership Grant doesn't make us money.
Right. Okay.
Right?
I got you.
The £20 minus Stripe fees goes into the grant, right? So that's £19.38 or something like that. So with that in mind, I've had to build other things. And also, to be fair, I've had a financial buffer always, right? And that's allowed me, you know, I have a support system that has a financial buffer that's allowed me to build up to now. If I didn't have that financial buffer, I would not be able to do this.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the difference, right? And a lot of women are doing a lot more than I am with no financial buffer. And that's crazy. But when needs musts, what do you do?
So in terms of this grant in particular, so how it works, so they put in the application fee for this grant and it's £25? £20.
Yeah.
£20.
All applications come in.
Yeah.
We do not look at applications until the cycle is closed.
Right.
Because why do you want to make yourself more work? First of all, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And we have a system. So once the applications come in, we've built a conditional logic system that scores every application, the questions that are asked.
Okay.
And then we get the top 10 scoring. Every application is scored between 1 and 50.
Yeah.
Right. So we get the top 10, and then that top 10 is passed on to our advisory panel, who individually deliberate in their own separate Notion pages for
Okay.
5 days.
Yeah.
And they vote.
Mhm.
And then I get the votes, tally the votes, and whoever gets the most votes wins.
And that's it. And
That's
then they
it.
get the grant.
They get the grant. They sign
Mm-hmm.
document
Yeah.
explaining our role, their
Mhm.
role, clarifying that we're not asking for equity, we're not asking for donate, because we're a limited company, we don't ask for any of that.
Yeah.
Clarifying that we're here to support them.
Mm-hmm.
Them clarifying that the money is going to where it's going. We only put the money in business accounts. We will not put it in anybody's personal account.
Okay. What if they're like a sole trader or something?
Yeah.
Is that, yeah.
But they
okay,
have,
cool.
but as a sole trader, you need a business
business account,
account.
yeah,
You need
mhm.
a business account.
Yeah.
So there's been one person who didn't have a business account, and we
Mhm.
walked her through the process of setting up a business account
Right.
before we sent the money through to that business account, because once that is yours, it's your income.
Mhm.
If you're a charity, obviously that's different. You don't get taxed on it. But if you're a business, you will get taxed on it. And now you're an adult, and that's your responsibility. And we've done our bit.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. And so after that, then what? Do you check in with them?
Yeah, I do check in with them. It's really strange because they don't know how to ask for help.
I mean, who does?
And I'm there going, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
There's a few that know what they're doing and they just get on with it, etc.
Mhm.
You have my number for a reason.
Mm.
Yeah, I know, I should call, but I'm like, listen, this is a learning curve for you.
Mm.
It's fine. And also the thing with the money is this. I want us to destigmatize money,
Mhm.
right? Because a lot of people start businesses with a lot more money and they don't do so much with it, or they learn as they go. And it's like, we're not allowed to do that.
Mhm.
And part of what the Fundhership Grant I want it to break is that stigma. You're given the money. Obviously, you're a responsible person. It's gone into your business account. You have your priorities with Taxman,
Yeah.
right? And with HMRC and with the law. And also, I'm going to trust you as a Black woman, as a brown woman, to do right.
Mm.
There's that lack of trust within us. And there's a lack of trust in society towards us. Oh, what are they going to do? I had people say to me, what's the ROI on the grant? I'm like, since when have you heard that there's an ROI on a grant? But guess where it's coming from?
Mm.
Because it's being given to people who are not, in the perceived acceptable space.
Have you had a lot of pushback from people outside our community?
No, not from serious people outside our community.
Okay.
From nutters on
Nutters.
on. But this is the thing. I don't think I would get pushback. I'm in groups that institutionally could scrutinize what I'm doing and look at what I'm doing. I don't think I would get pushback because, again, this is the challenge. I'm not taking anybody else's money to give to the women.
Yeah.
They are giving the money
Mhm.
and they understand, because they sign, that this money is either going back to them or to another woman who, and so, do you know what I mean? So it's a very transparent and clear process. I'll tell you a story. There was a lady, bless her heart, who contested. There's been a few people who've contested the payment. This one actually made a formal complaint to her bank that she did not get what she paid for.
What?
Because she didn't get the grant. She did not get what she paid for. And I've always said, we don't give refunds, and you tick like 3 boxes reminding you of that, right? But if you send us an email and you're like, dude, I'm really strapped. I'm building this for you.
Yeah.
Right? Let's do. And this is why now there's a thing on the application saying, if this is your last £20, please don't spend it here.
Don't do it.
Spend it on necessities. Get in touch with us. And I've had a few people get in touch with us. But back to this lady. So she did the contest, and I was like, okay. So I pulled up her application, and where she had ticked the yes, I pulled it up. I pulled up the receipt. I pulled up everything, and I sent it, and I disputed it, and I won.
Of course.
And I was like,
of course, because what do you mean?
Because when people dispute, I get charged.
Of course.
Not just the £20, but more money.
Yeah.
And then I get a fraud label put on me.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't find it within yourself to just say, I feel a bit disjointed about this. I have other people going, oh yeah, I applied, but I didn't get the email. Some emails bounce. Write to us, say something. Our system is like, when the email bounces, it's really hard for us to send you another email because it just shuts down.
Yeah.
And a few women do get in touch. Hey, I applied. I haven't received anything. We check. We do. I'm like, okay, you send us another email so we can add you and we can, do that and add us as a contact so that you can get the emails and stuff. And she's like, yeah, I didn't get it. So yeah, I'm not going to be supporting you anymore. And again, this stems back to we're all trying to survive. So it's really hard for us to, any tiny inconvenience feels so big.
I think there's something about when you're in a position where you're empowering people that you become a bit of a target, or what you do becomes a bit of a target. And I wonder if it's also to do with, you know, focusing on Black and brown women only as well, kind of thing. So I feel like there's a sense of like people within the community could see it as like, no, I don't trust this, I don't believe this, so there must be something wrong, because that they see that reflected in their lives. Do you know what I mean? And then some people outside the community is like, how dare you even try and get yourselves out of this? Do you know what I mean?
It's interesting because people that have attacked me most are the people in the community, and it happens to a lot of us, and we don't understand. Right? Really, really famous Black people are really, really lonely because everybody turns on them. When you are in a position where, let's say, you are trying to help and you are breaking historical things, yes, people will come at you. The other thing is that I really don't fit into the typical Black woman box, right? I told you about people complaining about my hair, the way I speak, you know, the way I just, you know, the way I present. It doesn't fit, right? If I wore suits all the time and was heavily made up all the time, you know, I love my makeup, I love dressing nicely, but I'm a hippie. I'm a hippie. And a hippie doesn't equate to somebody who's building economic infrastructure for Black and brown women. I can't change my hippiness and I can't pretend to not be a hippie just because I have the mental capacity to build economic infrastructure. We're not allowed. We always have to present in a certain way. And I think that triggers people into the pattern recognition of something's not right. I call us all porcupines, Black women. Because, you know, we're fluffy underbelly. We've all got all the spikes.
We've got the spikes.
So it looks like we can't be hugged. But all we want is a hug. Right? But every now and then we bristle and our spikes go out. How I used to be scared, like, to look at certain women, Black women down the street, because they'd quickly, back in the day, what are you looking at? Do you know, and I didn't understand what was going on. They were dysregulated. They were overwhelmed. They were underfunded. They were stressed, right? So anyone,
but you got to understand it. In the UK, back in the day, like legit though, it could be a threat. It could be
exactly. It could be because they were ready to fight you.
Yes,
they were ready. You need to look
be
away.
One of those girls.
Like, listen, you needed to find. And I on the streets of North London. People don't think North London were hard streets. You were not there in the night. On the streets of North London, you needed to know how to navigate in secondary school in North London. You needed to know how to navigate 100%. So they weren't waiting for you behind the school.
Don't want to get rushed.
Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Oh my gosh. You learned diplomacy. You learned to see the look in the eye before it twitched. Right? So you
to navigate out of those situations.
But all of those situations are not just because Black women are aggressive. We are struggling for our lives. You know? No it's hugs, no... Do you know, I don't remember being hugged so much as a kiddie in this country. I remember the first time I tried to hug my mum, she's like, I'm not white. Being the fact that Ghanaians hug each other, right? I was trying to hug, I was going to school and at the door she was, because my school was across the road, and she's like, wait, I'm not white. I'll never forget it. I tell her now, she's like, I said, you did. Why would I make it up? Do you know what I mean? And I remember how much hugs are healing. I asked the women, how many times have you been hugged? Like properly, not just hugging your friend because you saw them for a second, right? Just held. And have you been able to let yourself be held? That is terrifying. The first time I did that recently, I thought I was going to fall into a black abyss and never come back.
Oh, serious?
Because I'd never allowed myself. I came out of a very traumatic marriage. I was here trying to survive. COVID had happened. My son is been diagnosed. He needs so much attention. He didn't sleep. He never slept through the night for like the first 6 years of his life.
Wow.
Every 2 hours we were up. And first time somebody was there to just, I felt safe enough. I held back. I was like, if I pour out, now.
Mm.
How am I going to gather myself back in? Because and how many of us have the opportunity? We have a cry every now and then, but it's about a particular thing in that particular moment.
Yeah.
That healing, bringing everything. You don't even have the time.
Mm-hmm.
I could never cry anyway with my son because then he would start crying. So I'd have to hide. And then by the time he went to sleep, I was over it.
Yeah.
And how was the last time you, Sade,
Who, me?
cried?
Oh.
Like proper, not for somebody else's grief, not for any, but just it. It could be never, but that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's why we love sound baths and kumbayas, because we're trying to.
We could be all day, to be fair, but I hear what you're saying, and I wish there were more space for us to feel, to actually pause and stop and be able to feel, because for a lot of us, and I don't even want to be a Debbie Downer, there just isn't. We don't have that luxury, and I think it also depends on like your upbringing. What are the things that you are carrying as well with you, and what's your life like at the moment where you can relax, you can, like, I keep on thinking of exhaling. You can exhale
out.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Out.
A lot of us can't do that.
And even just having, some of us have girlies, but our girlies are going through so much.
Yeah.
We haven't agreed to pour out with each other so that you pour out on me. And I have some friends, I love them to bits. I know there's times they're like, I can't talk to you today. And I'm like, yeah, I hear that. But that's the thing. There's days when there's so much pressure that we can't even create the space for each other. And we're putting out tiny fires as we go, tiny fires. But there's ash, there's scars, there's all of those things that are not being healed properly. Yes, you're right.
I am now going to ask you some questions for our members.
Yep.
So Shardinians, they've sent me a few questions. So let me just get those real quick. This is about the Fundhership grant, and I have a question from Maya here. She asks, what does a good application look like?
Ooh, see, that's the $1 million question everybody asks. I don't know what a good application looks like because I'm not the one that scores the applications. Wait. No, wait. First of all. Secondly, I'm going to caveat this. Secondly, so many women are answering in so many different ways. It's mainly that you understand the viability of your business.
Yeah.
That you have clarity on what you're building, why you're building, who you're building it for, how you're going to make money from it, even if it is for the good of others. Thirdly, is sustainability. Like, how can you sustain it? Profitability, again, it's really important. A lot of people to that question have said, can we get individual feedback? Most of these people have never applied for grants because most grants do not give individual feedback. Right. That's insane.
Yeah.
But I have been listening and I have built, based on the conditional logic of the Fundhership grant evaluations, a tool that allows you not only to check the viability of what you're building, but also it allows you to see whether or not you're building in a high risk, high demand sector. And it gives you options as to whether or not you can shift and change so that you can actually build something profitable. So I've built that.
Okay.
It's called the Build Check.
The Build Check.
And you can find it build.OmegaSeven.global. But it says on there, just because you score highly on this doesn't mean then you are eligible for the grant. Because even if you have a high score, at the end of the day, there's 7 human women, black and brown, that will look at this anonymously, so they don't see your name or anything. They'll just look at the name of your project or business and your answers. And when it comes to human deliberation, may God's will be done. May the stars...
May the odds ever be in your favour or something.
Ever be in your favour, Hungarians.
Yeah.
Hungermens.
Hunger Games, that's it. Okay, another question is, do you offer other forms of support like mentorship and networking, etc.?
We do offer, what I've built is a bunch of platforms that will help women do the things they need to do, right? I don't believe that so many women need mentorship. You may need one session to set you right. But if you're a grown adult and you believe you can build a business, you don't need to be mentored.
Yeah.
You might need to be handheld to a certain place, but you don't need to be mentored. We are creating an event that will celebrate the 1 year, and it's happening in September.
Okay.
And it's a very, very different event to all the events that you've ever been to.
Okay.
So I'm excited about that. We're going to be announcing it at the end of June, beginning of July, with tickets and everything.
Amazing.
And so, yeah, that's happening. I have a whole bunch of tools that I've built because I think they're far more useful. And I open my calendar, ladies, to, if you want to book on my socials, there's Linktree. It says book a call. I've spoken to over 300 women. I'll give you my time, right? I don't mind because I know it's needed, right? A start point scan, it's a really honest process that you go through, and it tells you honestly whether or not you should even be thinking about starting a business.
Okay.
Because it asks you, and this is confidential stuff that we don't, but it asks you where you actually are and whether or not you're actually able to do that. Sometimes you have already built something and it helps you, okay, so this is realistically what you can do with it. Let's not be unrealistic, because unrealistic, it's all good to be delusional and ambitious and all of that. But a lot of us are stuck because we've reached a stage, there's no money, there's no clients, there's no nothing. We have a website, we have a brand, and that's it. So the start point scan does that.
Yeah.
The build check, the start point scan helps you figure out where you are. Yeah. The build check gives you a diagnostic on how well your business is going, right? And then the other two that I've built is the connectionship and buyhership. The connectionship is what we talked about, joint ventures. Yeah. Exploring joint ventures, because we need to stop building like we can build alone, right? Yeah. We need to stop. We don't have the luxury. We don't have the money. We don't have the mental capacity. We don't have. But then the objection would be, yeah, but can you trust anybody? We've put that in place. Every objection you have, we've got it in place, right? And then after every objection, if you're still complaining, you should not be building a business. Right? And then buyhership, there's a lot of women that have built assets. Yeah. But nobody wants to give them the time of day, right? And they're sitting on their assets. They've shut it down. They've reopened. They've done this. They've done that. And what I've done is been building relationships with people with money who I'm like, listen, these are viable businesses. We evaluated them. They do have money in them, right? Because what we need to remember is that our population is only starting businesses formally recently. Yeah. Like we are, our aunties, our mummies, they all had their side businesses, but very few of us formalized our businesses, went into the entrepreneurial genre. Yeah. Right? And so now that we're doing it, the rest of society is like, are they building stuff? Yeah. That's the biggest question I get asked from everybody else about Black and brown women. Are they building? Are they really? I don't know. I don't see their businesses on the high street. I don't see, unless they're salons or whatever.
Or restaurants or
exactly.
Something, yeah.
We don't see their businesses. And we need to be aware of that to understand that just because you walk into a room doesn't mean everybody's going to stop and go, ooh. All businesses, whoever they are, go through processes of building. And the unfortunate thing is that the large majority of people who are not like us have some sort of access to wealth. Right? Or have some sort of access to some kind of wealth that they can tap into to market, to grow, to, and they have the right hue to be trusted more quickly than we do. Yeah. So we need to understand how we work, So yeah, buyhership takes all of that away. There's no profile picture of you. It's just your business. Right. It's just your business and the valuation of your business, or your assets and the valuation of your assets. We don't have them, you have them. And then once an acquirer is like, or an operational partner is like, I want to put into this, we have legal templates, but we advise you to go and find legal assistance. Right. And we have legal templates and help. That means that you're not being bullied out of your things. But then we're not giving you legal advice, and we're not taking a percentage of whatever it is that they're offering you. right? You pay a one-time lifetime fee,
Yeah.
£49 to be on the platform for as long as you want. And with if you want to put another business there, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then that allows you to have the access, because a lot of those business visibility websites, they expect you to be making 200,000 a year, 300,000 a year, this, that, and the other. And, you know, some people could have sold their business for 30,000. 30,000 is good. Especially if you've been running it for like the last 3 years and it's sucking everything out of you.
Yeah.
Mate, get your 30 grand.
Yeah.
Get out. You know? So yeah.
Well.
And then also there's ways where you can have it, sell your IP and get lifetime royalties from it. You know, those kinds of things that we need to be stepping into, rather than, you know, I'm going to build it, I'm going to wait till it's at that. It's never going to get to the place where people are going to want to buy it in that way. Do you know what I mean? We need to be realistic.
Oh,
so, yeah.
I had a you just made me think of something. Like I have a something that I know does well, but I don't have the time and energy and all that kind of stuff. Like, do you know what I mean? So I would love to license it, but I don't even know where to begin with that.
That's where we do.
Yeah.
So so you put that on there and you're like, this is for life. And there's so many people with money looking for stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Looking to just buy that and run with it. That's why people buy laundrettes. That's why people, do you know what I mean? But it spreads into intellectual property, it spreads into assets. If you have really good recipe of something, this is what African Americans understood a while back. They patented their stuff.
Yeah.
They trademarked their stuff.
Yeah.
They sell their stuff.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah. I think we're good at doing that. And I think we need to tap into that a lot more. Like I'll tell you, I had a My Precious moment for years in Mexico. I wanted to build my own organization that I could help people. But actually, I have more capacity building the platform that helps lots of organizations do the thing in lots of places. So I had to let go of that. I had to go through a long process to let go of that. And I'm like, don't My Precious your thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if you get 50 grand, I know you think the potential is millions, right?
But you got to start. I feel like sometimes you just got to start.
Like if you have 50 grand, you can put it into something else that you can actually grow, right? But right now you have £30 in your account and you have this thing and you're like, I'm going to wait for that thing. You know, and I'm going to go to that pitch event. Nobody at that pitch event is going to buy your thing. It's going to invest in your thing, you know? So I tell such harsh truths, but I always tell it with a smile.
No, of course. We're going to go into a quick fire round now. So I'm going to ask you a couple of things and tell me the first thing that comes to your mind.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, no pressure. I mean,
so
it's
dangerous.
Nothing horrible.
No, but yeah, my mind just goes.
Okay, let's start. So, one thing women should stop apologizing for.
For not doing enough. Yeah, for not doing enough.
One money myth that needs to be dispelled. Yeah, it's dispelled. So.
Debt is not your enemy.
Oh, say that again.
Debt is not your enemy. I'm talking to you. Debt. I know. Yes, you.
I love it. One entrepreneurial myth.
If you build, they will come.
I feel you though. So true. It's so true. It's such a myth, isn't it? It really is. Because you will build and there'll be nobody. I feel you.
It's so painful. Like you have to laugh.
Yeah.
No, they won't come.
It's a big lie.
They won't come. They won't come. But like, it's just one. Okay, let's just stick with one because I've got so many. Oh my gosh. Oh my Lord.
Okay, cool. What is the best advice you've ever received?
Remember who you are. Now. Not who you think you are. Not who you want to be. Not who you aspire to be. Who you are. If you are able to remember who you are, you can go from there. You know? I love that stay in your lane thing.
Yeah.
Because it's not about restricting you. It's about knowing what you can do. Kevin Hart stays in his lane. Remember when he first started, he would talk about how he would be around people who would spend certain types of money.
Yeah.
Right. And he didn't have that kind of money, so he stayed in his lane.
Yeah.
Right. And he's like, I stay in my lane. And we really need to, it's not about, and Kevin Hart is an ambitious man. And he's achieved so much, but he stayed in his lane, and that allowed him to build where he's built now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's the thing. We're like, yeah, we've got to be delusional. No, you've got to be ambitious. You've got to be realistic about where you are. Ambitious about where you want to get to, but realistic about where you are. And a lot of times we get confused about that. So we're ambitious about where we are. And we're not realistic about where we need to go. Yeah. Remember who you are.
Oh, I love that. I really do. Okay, what reality show would you go on?
Jeez Louise and her brother Steve. Being as I don't watch reality shows very much at all, I think I would have gone on, you know those talent reality shows?
Oh, like Britain's Got Talent?
No, not that one. But remember when they used to, is that Britain's Got Talent? Then they go live in the house and do that. Like you when you get chosen, then you go.
X Factor.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I think X Factor, did they live in
in
I think
Spain?
they did,
in Spain, before X Factor, it was called Operación Triunfo.
Okay.
And that was when David Bisbal came out. I don't know if you ever heard of him. Yeah. So he's big, he's a big famous guy now. But it was a whole process.
Oh,
That's
really?
something I would go on to.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do a Love Island.
No. Big Brother?
No. Huh?
Would you do Big Brother?
No. I just think Big Brother gets really sordid real quick.
Okay.
And I don't. And also it's an island fever type situation because Big Brother is a lot more closed off.
Yeah.
All the other reality shows are kind of scripted, you know, let's be honest, right?
Yeah.
But Big Brother is not. Big Brother is, you're out there in the wild.
Yeah.
You know, actually I would do the living in the island in the middle of nowhere thing because I'm really good at camping and
is
stuff.
that Survivor?
Survivor or something like. I would do that because I know jungles.
Oh, okay.
I was in my element.
Yeah.
By the beach and I would have built my hut.
Oh wow.
I'll build my moat. I would start a what's it called? Lord of the Flies situation. It's my dream to have my own real life Lord of the Flies.
Hilarious. Okay. Okay. Would you? I was gonna call you Bear Grylls.
Yeah.
Oh, basically.
No.
Okay. What is one thing this conversation has reminded you to do?
Oh my gosh. Talk more to people. Not say more. Because I think I mute myself. I did a video about this yesterday. I mute myself when I'm on social media. I don't mute my being, but I don't say all these things I've said to you.
Yeah.
I say it to people in consultation and one-on-one. I know that it needs to be heard by more people, but I get on there and I'm looking at my face and I'm already upset.
What?
Because you're filming yourself, right? And you're looking at your face. And I'm already annoyed because I'm like, why am I here looking at myself? Talking to that. I can't. One thing it's reminded me of is I really want women in the black and brown women, especially black women in this country, to do well, but really do well. And I think I'm doing a disservice to them not speaking more about how they can do well. Not what they're doing wrong, but how they can do well. Yeah. So that's what it's helped me.
I love that. And lastly, what is one thing you do to check in with yourself?
I journal a lot. I pray, I fast, I journal a lot. And also, I've stopped, but I used to annually send my friends a task to take the time, but to write back to me where they think I've done well and where they think I failed miserably. And they would all be so terrified of that time of the year.
Oh, really?
Because they knew that they had to be brutally honest with me. And that's another problem with us. We don't speak enough with people, or we're not honest enough with each other to be like, hey, or trust each other enough to hold each other. I want somebody who sits with me, who does life with me, right? Who hears my everything to be able to say, hey, you know?
I mean, that's a beautiful thing. That really is. If you can have that honesty that comes from a place of love, that's a beautiful thing.
It's
but
necessary.
I feel like so often that it's just not. People don't want to hear that. A lot of people don't want to hear that. They can't manage that, I guess.
And I think also it's an isolation thing. If you haven't built friendships that are based, you have friends, you hang out, you do this, you do that, but you haven't been accountable to each other. I've had the privilege, both for men and women, to have friends like that. And they're spread across the world, but I will call them, they will call me, and we will. And it was, or will, whatever it is we do, they love me deeply enough and I love them deeply enough that if they say, hey, you, and they're all watching me on social media as well, they'll be like, dude, no. I would take it from them. I'd be like, oh, right, I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got the honesty.
Yeah, and it's also not something that happens overnight.
Yeah.
Like they've been in my life for like 20 something years. Do you know what I mean? So that also is a privilege to have.
Yeah.
You know.
I love that. Well, thank you.
Oh, no. Thank you.
Honestly, this has been a great conversation. Yay. Like, honestly, I've really enjoyed it.
I'm glad.
And I hope, well, I know that you will continue to do the work that you do. I feel like it's very much needed. It seems to me that you've been doing this for a long time in terms of like helping women empower themselves. And we need more people like you.
Oh, thanks.
So, yeah.
Thank you so much. No, it's I always say to people, and I say it funnily, I don't go out much, right? Because of my son. And that's fine. I used to go out a lot. I used to be out across the world.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't have any FOMO. But when I do come out and I do have experiences like this, it really does fill my heart, because to be able to solve problems, you're always looking at the problem, right? And there's very few times when you're able to look at it from a different place, you know, because you're always looking at, you have the solution, but it's because you're looking at what's wrong.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm also fixed in that way. I'm also a root cause person. I don't just be like, oh, that person behaved that way. Everything makes me go deep. But having nice conversations like this, they're a relief and alleviating. Yeah. And it's nice to meet other Black women as well.
Absolutely.
You know, 'cause I don't go.
Nor do I really. But yeah. So I feel you.
Oh man, I see people going to like beats and baths.
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah. To be fair, I was supposed to be there. But I just couldn't make it happen in the end. But my co-founders who we mentioned off camera, they're part of that organization.
Oh,
so,
right.
Yeah. Where can people
find me?
Yes.
They can find me in my backyard. It's not actually a backyard, it's a communal
I don't know
area.
if you want them at your house.
I don't actually. No, on social media, the Mother of Systems, all one word, everywhere. Fundhership Official or OmegaSeven Global on social media and LinkedIn, and Nanna SS on LinkedIn if we're not connected. If we have a connected second, you'll see my whole name. You see my hair. So just look for the hair. That's where you'll find me.
Yeah, connect people. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the next one. But before you go, make sure you like the video. All right? Peace.